Alright, before I get started this morning, I want to kind of apologize if I look a little bleary-eyed and a little disheveled. It's 6 a.m. here and I haven't been to bed yet. But I want to go ahead and make this video before I go take a nap upstairs. Weapons Education has asked us for our input on SIG Sauer. Now, most people who watch my channel know that I like SIG Sauer. I've even got a little SIG box right here over my shoulder. And some of my favorite guns are SIGs. Now, SIG has had a lot of not say controversy over the last several years, but especially in the last couple of years. But they've had some disputes and some opinions on them that are pretty strong, and I'm going to try to cover those in this video as well as show some of the SIGs I own. Okay, one of the controversies, or one of the great arguments between people, is what is better, the Exeter-made models or old German-made models. This one here, this P220, which is one of my favorite guns, is an American-made model. The frame's made in Germany, the slide's made in Exeter, New Hampshire. So all the stainless frames, I do believe, come from Germany. So most of the guns I have will have frames at least from Germany, because I buy mostly stainless guns. But to me, I restore guns. A lot of people will know, you've seen some of my projects on here. I have owned German-made guns. I've owned ones from Exeter. I have worked on other people's guns that are German, and to be honest, I have found more defects and flaws that needed to be repaired with German-made guns than I have with the Exeter-made guns. The Exeter is a more modern manufacturing process. It is a lot more up-to-date than a lot of the German-making guns were. And I think a lot of the whole Germany versus American-made gun thing is just a pure nostalgia thing. I don't think it's based in fact, because like I say, for every flaw I've ever found on an American-made gun, I've found 2 or 3 on a German-made gun. And they aren't abuse flaws. They aren't flaws that are, from use. They are flaws from manufacturing. Things that weren't, insides of slides that weren't honed down properly, insides of frames that weren't deburred properly, things like that. So, they're good guns, but today there seems to be more of an attention to detail simply because of more modern manufacturing processes like CNC machinery, things like that. So to be honest, when they say they don't build them like they used to, I think they're right. I think they build them a little more precisely now than they used to. So as far as the Germany versus America thing goes, I just don't think there's any validity in it. I think they're both really good guns. Okay, another big thing that SIG has dealt with in the last several years is their design changes. And I know a lot of people want to say, oh, it's a certain individual that came over from Kimber and a couple other companies that have ruined SIG's design because they've added the beaver tail, and they're like, oh, the beaver tail doesn't belong on any gun other than 1911, and they've added weapons rails on a lot of the guns. Once again, I think that's just something that's purely based in opinion. It doesn't have any factual basis for saying its words. I prefer this, much prefer this. It makes the gun more stable when you shoot it. It makes the gun easier to control. When you say it doesn't belong there, I'm like, who are you to say it doesn't belong there? It makes the gun easier to use, so why would it not belong there? As far as accessory rails, accessory rails make the gun more useful. They give you more options. They don't hurt the gun in any way. They do make it a little tiny fraction heavier, but it's such a small fraction that you're not going to notice it when you carry it. So a lot of people just like to complain, and I think that's the problem, is they just want to complain. There's plenty of old SIGs still around. If you want an old SIG, buy them, but I think the new SIGs are better designed, because like I say, that beaver tail there, that gives you more control while you're shooting. It gives you more stability on the gun. It also protects you from slide bite on a double action gun with a hammered gun here. And the slide and the rails, like I say, add more functionality to the gun. And I actually like their look. I think SIG is one of the few guns where the rail actually looks like an integral part of the gun and doesn't look like an afterthought. It actually makes the gun look like it's a tough piece of machinery. It actually looks like someone designed this gun with that rail in mind. It flows well with the body of the gun. It goes well with the designs of the gun and the cuts. So I'm a big fan of the new designs. Now, if I felt there was anything about the new designs that hurt the functionality of the gun, I'd say so, but I just don't think that's the case. Now let's discuss the SIG's polymer guns. There's been a lot of complaints about people from their polymer gun line. People are just such fickle pains in the asses. You know, I always say the more people I meet, the more I like my dog. And as a retailer, I can understand how people would definitely feel that way. Because people complain and complain and complain that they want more polymer options, more lightweight options from SIG, and then they make them, and all they do is complain about them. Unfortunately, in today's market, you have to rush things to market pretty quickly. And when you buy a gun, and you're one of the first people to own it, you have to pretty much understand, I'm a beta tester for this gun. Because, you know, they do all the alpha testing, they get the gun approved, they get the gun to where they think it's stable, and then they put it out there. And then the first couple hundred guns that go out, those are the really test guns. And those are people that are really going to shoot them, really going to use them in a way that a manufacturer can't decide how these people are going to use their guns, how are they going to abuse their guns. And I'm always usually willing to be one of those people, because I know with a manufacturer like SIG, if I get one and it's bad, they stand behind it. They've always taken care of any problem I've ever had. Every major gun maker I've ever owned, Smith, SIG, Beretta, even Taurus, has always taken care of every problem I've ever had with a gun. It's always been made right in the end, and I've gotten to enjoy the process of being part of a new gun. You know, being one of the first people to own it, and one of the first people to shoot it, and one of the first people to talk about it. The SIG P250 is no different. You know, they made these guns, and initially they did pretty well, but they found out they had an issue with the compact size magazine. They had some feed issues with that. So they completely redesigned it. And since they've redesigned it, excellent gun. You know, I mean, I can't say that I've had a better polymer gun ever. It's as reliable as a Glock. It has better ergonomics, better looking, I think. Much better looking. I mean, this gun is not an unattractive gun at all. I really like it. But, you know, just a great gun overall. And, you know, when you consider that the SIG P250 is also one of the most innovative guns I've seen come along in a long time, a lot of you know that there's only one little piece in here that's actually the gun, the little receiver that snaps down into this frame. You can replace slide, barrel, frame, everything on this gun. If I was to scratch this frame and decide, oh, I don't like that scratch on there, I can, for $45, I can order a new frame. You know, as long as I keep that little metal piece inside, I can change everything else. So this gun's perfect for OCD people like me who don't like scratches or nicks, because if I damage the polymer, I just buy another polymer frame. And that's the only part on this gun that's really easily damaged. The stainless steel is easily fixed if it gets damaged. So damage the frame, buy a new one. I mean, how many other polymer guns can you say that about? I've gotten rid of polymer guns before because I've gotten blemishes on the polymer. I'm just really touchy about finishes. I like things to look like they've been well cared for. Part of my military upbringing and everything, if something doesn't look perfect, then it's not perfect. That's just the way I've been made to think over the years. And I'm brainwashed, and I know it, and I don't mind it. And a little OCD too. So, you know, like I say, people complain they want more polymer options, and SIG actually actively gives them one, and a good one. And all they want to do is complain about the process. Stop complaining about the process and enjoy the final product, because this is a fine final product. This the SIG P250, I have this one, I have the subcompact also. Two different guns. I don't just have a different frame and slide. I have two actual different receivers. So I have two full actual guns, which I could build on to different sizes, different platforms, you know, make several different guns out of those two different receivers if I wanted to. But like I say, great polymer guns. I mean, the SIG P250 is one of the most underrated polymer on the market. This is the stainless model. You can't get it anymore. I'm glad I got it early because they discontinued the stainless models. Both of mine are in stainless. And you can't get this one anymore, but you can get the nitron, the ones with the, I think they call it nitron finish or something like that. But you can get that for like a little over 400 bucks. I mean, sometimes under 400. If you don't want night sights, you can get them for like 389. And where you go get a better gun than this for 389? Okay, now let's talk about concealable guns. Guns that are great concealed carry options. Now, like I said, this is the subcompact 250. It's like the 250 I showed you earlier, but it's on a smaller frame and a smaller slide. It's a very concealable gun, especially in the winter time. 40 caliber. You get 10 rounds in one in the chamber, 11 rounds of 40 caliber. That's not a bad carry gun at all. Now, this was a good carry gun. It's a good carry option. But SIG went even smaller and provided a smaller gun recently for concealed carry. And that smaller gun is the SIG P290. Now the SIG P290 has proven to be an excellent weapon for me. Once again, people complain they wanted concealable options, but then they want to bitch about the process of a company developing a good carry gun. Every company lately that's been trying to develop a good carry gun has gone through issues with their initial offerings. be it Kimber with the Solo, be it Ruger with their series of small polymer guns. All of them have issues because they're new guns. They're not 1911s that have been around for 100 years. You know, they're not even Beretta models or revolvers or anything like that. They're not time-proven models. These are from the ground up guns. I mean, sure, their basic principles are the same as other guns, but they're really having to work out the mechanics of these guns from the ground up. So there's going to be some growing pains. And if you can't accept that, well then just buy yourself a revolver and shut the hell up. Because I'm just tired of listening to people bitch about new guns that are going through the process of becoming good guns. When you do that, you just make yourself look foolish. It's just like saying, well, that brand new technology is never going to take off because it's not perfect. You know, people have said that, you know, throughout history people have done that. And they've always been proven to be morons. So I just don't like it when people bitch about things like that. But getting back to the topic of the gun itself, this is the SIG P290. It is tiny. I mean, this gun is smaller. It's a 9mm, and it's smaller than a Walther PPK, and it's even smaller than a Walther PPKS. So, small little 9mm gun, very compact, very easy to carry. When this first gun came out, people were like, "Oh, there's a well-known reviewer on YouTube. I won't say his name, but." He made a video saying, oh, it's a good gun, but it's just too thick. I would carry a car because this is too thick. I'm like, exact same width as the car. It seems thicker than the car because it's shorter. So you get the impression that it's thicker. Exact same thickness. You know, I think they're like 0.9 inch on the slide, 1.1 overall, something like that. So exact same. So they say, but the main thing people were slamming it for is its thickness. I just heard it's bulky, it's thick, it's bulky, it's thick. All the time I'm like, it's the same thickness as the car series that everyone is fawning over, myself included, and it's smaller overall. So where are you getting bulky and thick? It just amazes me how people will say things off the top of their head before they actually verify whether it's true or not. But like I say, that people clamored for more concealable options, SIG has given it to them. It seems like for years, SIG has just been giving people what they want, but you get a certain subgroup of people that just complain every time you give them what they want. So my opinion of SIG overall is SIG's a great company that's producing a great gun, and they're giving people what they want. Now, one thing I will talk about is the magazine issue. Now, SIG has been getting cheap on their magazines, on their lower end guns. Like these guns only ship with one magazine. And that is my one negative thing with SIG. Now, I personally, in every situation, I have called SIG, bitched about the one magazine, and they have given me another magazine, more than once. So, I won't say too much bad about it, but I understand companies having to cut costs, especially in this tough financial times. I mean, I've owned businesses in this time, and I know what it's like. So I can't say too much about them, but that is kind of chintzy to me. I'd rather pay an extra $30 for the gun or $20 for the gun and get a second magazine, rather than have to buy one aftermarket and pay a markup on it later. But I guess that's one of their profit makers, is their aftermarket for their magazines. So that is my one negative about SIG. But overall, I think, like I say, they've given us exactly what we've asked for, what we've wanted, and then people just bitch when they get what they want. So my overall opinion is SIG, great company, gives you what you want. If you're patient and if you understand that new guns take a little time to develop, and that your opinion of what makes a perfect gun, like the whole thing about the beaver tails, things like that, isn't everyone's perfect opinion of what makes a gun. So, top-notch company.